So, hello and welcome to In Conversation With. My name is Colin MacDonald, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Gavin Kelly.
Hi Colin, how are we doing?
I'm not too bad now, and yourself?
Lovely day, isn't it? Lovely February
It's
day.
very nice day. Yeah, it's a bit chilly, but it's very beautiful.
We'll blinds down for lighting reasons.
Yeah, for lighting reasons. And I'm delighted to be joined, first and foremost, a very established name in the radio industry, but a fellow Waterford character. Kill me, yeah, exactly. I mean, 10 minutes down the road.
Neighbours.
Emma Nolan, in case you were wondering. Sorry, I forgot to mention your name. Emma, how are you?
Very good, thank you. So lovely to be here with you guys. This has been in the works for a
Finally.
while.
For a while,
yeah.
Finally.
Since around May.
Yeah. We were
I
just
mean-
figuring that out outside. I think it was April were the hybrids last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I've probably, like, when we started interviewing people in radio, that you would have been one that I wanted to, but you were based down in Waterford at the time, obviously,
Yes.
with our beloved Beat 102, 103. And then obviously you got announced as the hybrids judge. And were we in contact before then or no?
I think the first time I heard from you guys was around hybrids time.
Around hybrids time.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, Emma was one of our hybrids judges, and the award winner in question was
This
that man over
This
there.
guy. I distinctly remember from the hybrids meeting Emma, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Gavin." I was like, "What's your second name?" I was like, "Kelly." And he was like, "Okay." She knew.
Yeah, I've been listening to the audio for days. I took it so seriously, guys.
Yeah.
I've never been given such like an important job before, and I treated it like the bloody IMRO Radio Awards. I was like, had my little sheet out, and I went over it and over it and over it again. But yes, Gav was my clear winner, absolutely.
Yeah, and then we did get nominated, us two. Well, yeah, us two. And then unfortunately we lost out, but.
We blame Jazz for that. But.
Yeah, we blame Jazz.
Hey, like top like 2 or 3 is still whopper though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I mean,
you know,
it's good to be nominated.
Can't argue with that. That's what everyone says at the actual radio awards as well. It's like, sure, look, we'll take the top 5. It's still nice to be top 5 even if you don't place.
It's probably a common enough place for us to start, but was radio, or like I would say media was always kind of in your mind, given that you studied it in college, but how early on did you kind of realise that was something that you wanted to get into?
I remember when I was a very young teen, maybe I was actually only like 11 or something, but this is distinct in my head. There was someone like in the small town where I grew up who was working in like Kiss magazine or something like this, and I remember just thinking like, yeah, like that's it. Like I'm so jealous. Like I want media. I knew it was going to be media, but then as I went into my teens, I knew I wanted like the instantaneous vibe of broadcast. Like I loved radio growing up. I absolutely loved it.
Any
I listened to
particular
it all the
DJs
time.
spring to mind that you would have listened to?
Like old school beat days as well, like Dan Rowan was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
back in the day. I remember their Sunday night show Heartbeat. You're probably a
of
bit too
course.
young for Heartbeat, are you?
A little bit, yeah.
Heartbeat was on a Sunday night. It was like a problem show, but it was very like, they talk about all sorts, you know. So if you didn't listen to Heartbeat on Beat on a Sunday night, you'd have nothing to talk to your friends about in school on Monday, because it was like an episode of Love Island. Like it's
right.
all anyone wants to talk about. I cried when that show was axed. But anyway, so then I suppose I was always into writing and journalism, and so even though, as I said, I loved presenters and they were like my friends in my room every night, which was weird, but like in my house there was one telly, so it was just go to your room and listen to the radio, and that's pretty much what I did. But I remember just thinking like, yeah, journalism interested me a lot in crime, and I never thought I'd have the ability to be a presenter. That to me was always a domain that was unreachable, and it was just too, like, you're aiming too high, you know, this kind of thing. And I thought journalism still the dream gig would be kind of a news gig. I feel like I'm really waffling here, but yeah, essentially journalism, and I was like focused on that then. I was like amazing, and broadcast journalism was the dream. And I was at a family funeral, sadly, years ago. I was waiting on my leaving cert results, hadn't even got my course yet, and I met this great guy James, who at the time was working for the Daily Mirror, and his wife is Orla O'Donnell in RT News. She's the political correspondent in the forecourts and all. And I went up to Orla on multiple occasions throughout a couple of years and just fell in love with it. Just the idea of being the person behind the camera on the 6-1, having like almost the most educated person on the topic in the country, and then just sharing what you know from the day. Like that whole concept of preparing for the 1 o'clock and the 6 o'clock and getting back to your little studio in the forecourts and stuff. It was such a buzz, and she was amazing as well, up and down to Paul Reynolds in the criminal courts, and I really loved it. Even got myself on the telly once. She was heavily pregnant at the time, and she had to go live on I think it was with Pat Kenny at the time, and she just handed me the mic and said the Sean Quinn trial was on at the time. She just
Interesting.
get a statement from him. And I think the only reason he stopped, like while he was walking to his car outside court, was because he was like, who is this child running at me with a microphone? But with that, a little statement came, which was front page of the papers the next day.
Wow.
And I think at that point, Donnybrook rang Orla being like, who's the kid? So he was like, oh, that's Emma. She's always helping me out. So yeah, and then that kind of continued. And then the big dream job came after being in the broadcast centre in Waterford. There's 2 stations there that share the building, WLR-FM, Waterford's local station with the slightly older demographic, and then Beat, the youth station in the southeast.
How very ageist of you.
That's it. My
no,
point by saying that was they're not like fighting for the same
No,
audience
yeah,
or
they're
anything per se, like
100%.
different demographics. But oh my god, I got an amazing bunch of people, and I did 6 months work placement in WLR-FM as part of my college degree. I'd say 2 years, probably 2 years later, and I worked with Billy McCarthy, who sadly passed away.
Great, yeah.
The late and great, the Joe Duffy of Waterford.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just the best experience ever working with him and his producer Jennifer. I just loved it. I loved local radio. I loved producing. Like almost at that point, I was like, screw the journalism thing. This is what I want to do. I did 6 months of that. Didn't want to leave. Cried so hard, and I had obviously made good friends in the Beat crew as well at that point. And then went on Erasmus to Budapest.
Lovely, just back from it there a couple of weeks ago.
Where were you?
I was in Buda.
Were you?
Yeah, there a couple of weeks ago.
Did you enjoy it?
College loved it. It's such a
great city.
beautiful city. Cheapest chips as well.
Cheap as.
I was a ticket there over the summer.
Amazing.
For the 7 days. Long story, but we had fun.
7 days, I'd say you were exhausted, were you?
Oh, a lot of other stuff happened. Like we missed flights, and one of the lads got like hurt.
Through your own faults.
A lot of that, but it was kind of like the best and worst holiday of our lives.
Maybe now it's still a little bit raw, but like in years to come, like that'll be a great story.
No, that's the thing.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
I meet people now. It's like, here's my Zigged story.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, sometimes you have to go through a bit of sacrifice to have a good story
Exactly.
over a pint, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
And in terms of music, then was that always something as a youngster?
Yeah. God, I was always obsessed with music. Again, this whole I'm setting up such like a narrative of living in the countryside and only having one TV is where I was like deprived. I wasn't, but yeah, music. As soon as I could figure out, like, get my pocket money together and go buy a single. I'm not proud of some of the early singles. I think
Name and
I
shame.
did love Six. I remember bringing down that CD
Better than
to
five.
my set dancing class and just being so proud of it, being like, I got a Six single and there's a bonus track. I know. And then my first album would have been Eminem's Curtain Call. And then my mum went on holidays to New York once and brought back an iPod, and that was the game changer.
I don't think I ever bought a single. My first album was the Hoosiers.
Yes.
Goodbye, Mr. A.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Mr. A.
I got their album. I don't know where that. Actually, I know why, because one of their songs was on the FIFA soundtrack around that time.
It was Goodbye, Mr. A, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Goodbye, Mr. A, and that was my first album, and then
What an underrated song.
yeah,
Underrated
band, I would say, yeah. And then very shortly after that, I got my first iPod Nano, and then my dad had the entire Now collections. I think he still
what
has.
a legend!
I think he has from Now 1. He hasn't gotten the recent ones. He's gone from Now 1 to 105, I think.
Amazing.
And all of them were just constantly going onto the iPod.
And then again, just in terms of music, Emma.
Sorry.
Just what are your listening habits now? 'Cause you have to do a lot of music. Being
Oh,
a
crazy! Yeah. So I actually have a playlist on my phone on Spotify called Stream of Consciousness. It's funny. I've talked to people about this a lot over the last couple of years. How you can go through a month of this particular genre and getting so deep and really figuring out this artist, and then almost studying them online because you're after getting kind of obsessed, and then you're kind of ready to move on from that because life changes or whatever.
Right.
And sometimes a song could come on the radio and you're like, that was then, I don't need this right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But yeah, it's very varied. I think it would be impossible to put me in have a 100% genre, but I seem to constantly kind of come back to kind of chilled hip hop. A lot of Party Next Door, a lot of Kendrick as well. I'm trying to think what else I've been then on a different sphere. Dermot Kennedy's my go-to. If I can't think of anything, it's just throw on that full playlist.
And obviously FM104 would be a CHR station, very similar to your Spins or whatever. Do you like chart music?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do like chart music. Don't get me wrong. Massively so. It's funny though. I suppose we live in this age where it's nice to be able to have your own how do I put this? It's nice that we have the chart music that we know and love and come back to and can parody to and become songs that you want to that's still there, but it's also nice to have the outlet to be oh, I'm going to go for a walk, and for this 10 minutes I'm going to just listen to my own stuff. You know?
Absolutely.
Like, it's nice to have both, I think, today. But I do think that there's still a massive introduction of new music through radio, even though people discover themselves. And I think that we all have quite an eclectic taste, and it's nice to be able to get into that in our own time as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I find is that, like, just I think since 5th year, I've done like, it's kind of like a stream of consciousness thing. What you're saying, like songs that remind me of moments or something like that. That's kind of how I relate best to music.
So funny that you say that's pretty much exactly what my, not to like ruthlessly plug here, but we might chat about it later, but the podcast I'm actually working on at the moment is pretty much that concept of isolating significant moments in the guest's life and then the song that you can't help but be reminded of based on that experience. So it's not necessarily your favourite song or the songs you're proudest of. It's like sometimes a song was just on that day that breakup happened and you're like, I hate that song. Do you know that kind of thing? So it just kind of shows the power of the emotional connection.
And
absolutely.
The first guest on that podcast is a former one of ours as well, young Marty.
Marty, yeah. Nilo was chatted to him yesterday for it as well. I love him. Great guy.
Yeah, fantastic guy. That's one that's in the works. There's been Instagram DM sent.
Yeah.
So and speaking of, so like Irish hip hop is obviously something that's becoming a lot more recognised now, particularly in the last maybe 3 to 5 years. When did you kind of first discover it, I suppose?
I've always loved Soleil. That might be a bit of a generic answer, but I mean, like, how long is this going on?
Some of these lads have been around for years.
Exactly.
Like Mango have been around for years.
Yeah.
I suppose it's when...
Back from the animators days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How long have I been? I suppose Soleil would have been my big go-to initially. Jafaris as well. They had that track Sane Sister. That was a 3 Made by Music track, and I just went, oh my god, this is completely and utterly Irish, and this is amazing. And yeah, I kind of got really obsessed with it, and it's been something that I'm incredibly... Irish music I'm always passionate about, but at the moment I'm just like extra crazy passionate about it. I just think that they're such a wonderful, passionate, hardworking bunch of people, and I just think I'm really proud of Ireland right now. I'm proud that, I think as well, like, I did a documentary on this exact topic.
I was about to bring it up. Yeah, it's
early. Thank you
really,
so
really
much.
good.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. But I think as well, something I think that it was Niall Power from Beat said to me was like, I was like, why is it taking so long? Because I can't accept it. I'm like, why have we not been support? Like, why? And then he just kind of made the point, being like, you know, sometimes in Ireland years ago we don't feel we're quite as cool as the Kendricks, or you know, this kind of thing. And sometimes it just takes a while for the ear to get used to a new accent or a new sound. But certainly I think we're all there now, and I'm very proud of that. And I just can't wait to see what's to come for all of them, and for those that even the ones that we haven't even bloody heard of yet, because there's plenty of them too who are getting the confidence.
I think it's become a thing of, you know, there were always these artists, they were always around, but I think it was around maybe a year, 2 years ago when we kind of started to realise this is a scene. It's a lot of artists connected together, and especially now with even Irish Hip Hop Against Homelessness, this is like community is being brought together basically, and it deserves to be recognised. 150
million%, you've no idea. And they're, you know, I've been lucky enough to meet so many of them over the last couple of years, and
everybody in the industry is so nice.
So
like brilliant.
Kind.
Like we've had a couple of guests on Tebby Rex, JLOL, and they've been brilliant. Like they've been just so chill, laid back, answer any question you ask them, and just
even outside hip hop as well. Brave Giant, Wild Youth.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, 100%. And I think the scene in general support each other so much too. It doesn't have to just be the hip hop scene too. I think it's just Irish music as a whole, but hearing more of, it's even hard to put that particular genre on it, but you know, I can't describe it any way, but hearing more of that particular genre I think is very exciting for Ireland. I think, don't get me wrong, it's exciting for everybody, but I just think because we hadn't really heard that before, it makes me extra excited. It makes me extra excited to see who's going to have the confidence to come up next and be like, all right. And I love that before, say, some of these artists might have had to look to the UK for inspiration, or even to like America, and now they can just look at what's going on in Ireland and go like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. You know, I think that's so cool that we can set the standard for ourselves as well and look up to our own.
Absolutely.
That was very deep. Look up to our own.
It's fair to say that you'd have a decent knowledge on the hip hop scene now.
No.
Now I'm gonna give you the option. Do you want to answer my 5 questions first and see how you get on, and then maybe try District's hip hop quiz?
I want to say on the record that I'm incredibly passionate, but I'm not like
nerdy.
Like obviously I care so much and I've read so much, but like I'd have to do a bit more work before writing
She's not
a
an
thesis.
encyclopedia column.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, look, we'll do it for fun, but
Look, if this segment is no good, then we can always cut it out.
Yeah, do it in post.
It's the fantastic ability that we have, in post-production to cut parts of the interview that we don't like out.
Chop, see ya.
Right, I only have 5 questions. I
Okay.
think there's 10 on the District one. Okay, first one. Whose album dropped first? Tebby Rex or Mango and Matman?
Tebby Rex.
It was Tebby Rex, yeah.
There was only like a couple of months in it though.
Yeah, I think it was like a month and a half in between them, yeah. Right, next one. Which Irish hip-hop artist features on the FIFA 20 soundtrack?
Jafaris? No, JLOL.
It is JLOL, Ozone. Fantastic song. What is the name of Eric Cody's 5-song EP released last year?
Leoness.
Yep. God Knows is a member of which popular group?
Shit, I don't know.
Rusangano family.
Of course.
Yeah. And then finally, what is Soleil's most streamed song on Spotify?
Love Tonight.
Absolutely. I think I tried, it's like nearly 4 million streams on that, which is just incredible.
Such
I'd say being the song on the ad in between Love Island got that extra bit of circulation, but even still, apart from that, like it's been everywhere over
First
the past
second I
few
heard it, I went, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the one, because she's had so many of the ones, but sometimes you just need one that like absolutely everybody's going to be like.
Troublemaker would probably be my favourite of hers. Like it's just such, like all of her beats are like really good. But
that one's quite like electronic-y, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah, it's
I
funky.
love that.
I like it.
I think I'm confident enough now to give your other ones a go.
Right. This
feel like we're like junior cert now. We're going to go straight into leaving cert.
Okay, so there's 10 questions here. See how we get on. Which Irish hip hop act was the first to be signed to a major record label deal? 4 options: Rob Kelly, Scary Era, Creative Control, or Urban Intelligence Crew.
I'm not even going to make a guess because I haven't a clue.
Oh, let's see. Scary Era.
Okay.
Oh well, which JLOL song made it onto the FIFA 20 playlist?
Oh
no. Mango and Matman previously were part of what group?
The Animators.
Very good. In what year were Messiah J and The Expert nominated for the Choice Music Prize?
Spring 2020.
Throwback.
Do you have options?
2007, 2004, 2006.
2007.
Correct. Reggie Snow is currently signed to which record label? Def Jam, 300 Entertainment, XL Records, or Island Records?
This isn't my forte. I know like Universal, Sony,
Yeah.
and then I like and then when I'm looking up someone like to know who to contact, I'm like, that's when I go in further and look.
Exactly.
It's like this is the tree, and then there's so many branches. Like I'm sorry, again, I don't know. That's something that I do on the go.
Well, I don't know either. So, Colin, do you want to hazard a guess?
Sorry, what were the options again?
Def Jam, 300 Entertainment, XL Records, or Island Records?
Island.
300. Punch Drunk is a single from Rich rap duo. Mango Matman, Tebby Rex, Neomatic, or Rogan and Omega.
And I know it's not the first two.
Yeah.
I was like, I
I
should
don't
know
think
it
it's
if
the first two. Yeah.
I'm gonna hazard a guess. Go for D, the final one.
D. We'll see.
Oh damn it!
What's that featured as part of the Somewhere in Ireland series? But who does the song belong to?
What's the name of the song?
What's that?
What's that? Features part of the Summer in Ireland series, but who does that song belong to? I already don't even know. I don't know.
I
don't know. That's okay. This quiz is hard, man.
This is a hard quiz. Nilo's previous band were called what?
Oh my god, I talked about this yesterday. It was like a rocky band, and he loved it, and I was like, I didn't know this. Like I learned this yesterday.
So agitation, frustration, blasphemy, or irritation?
The second one?
Correct?
Yes!
Okay. Oh, this is a producer question.
Let's skip this one.
Yeah. Borderline from Evans Jr. features which artist?
Borderline from?
Evans Jr.
I don't know what Evans Jr. is, man. Do you?
No.
Do
Right,
you?
no, right.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, that was the same question again. Okay, I think we're done. 5 out of 10.
Well, that quiz doesn't count.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I got a. I think if this was schooling, like based on the questions that were fair, there, I'd probably scraped an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely got it. Well, maybe a B1.
If we round it up.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that.
You said that it was like junior cert, leaving cert, but of course you did your junior cert twice.
I did.
Segue.
I just when you mentioned the junior cert, I was like, there's a link.
Yes, I did. It was brilliant. God, it was so much fun.
Where did the idea from that come from?
Oh God, that was totally all my own fault. No, so I suppose like when I think back on the shows that I've done, the first ever show obviously I got was the takeover on Beat, like the first time round, and I have to say, it was like going out into, like, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted. Like obviously I was guided and helped along the way and stuff, and I wasn't totally rogue, but my point is, like, no matter what idea was there, it was like, cool, let's go talk about it and figure out how we're going to do it. And it was bloody brilliant. And you know, I was much younger now, like I'm nearly 27. Back then I was like 20, you know, like, so my point is, like, yeah, when I came back into the show the second time, it took like a whole kind of different direction. But the first time it was just like, all right, okay, let's do a feature with my granny every week called Phyllis with Knowledge, because her name is Phyllis. And it was just the best fun ever. And like there was engagements on that show live. Like it was there was live Tinder dates being like organically just, hey, I'm on the way to a Tinder date. Oh, hey girls. And then, oh, we're going to meet those girls. Right, update us every half an hour on how you're going. And I would just stay live. Like the show would be over and I'd be like, any update, girls? Are you home safe yet? Like it was just crack. And yeah, one of the things we did was, obviously, like, it was a very teenage focused show in many ways. And yeah, I remember just coming out and just being really focused on like content to make sure that I was like not directing the entire show towards people who are studying, but making sure that I was covering that base too. And I remember sitting in the office one day, we were in an open plan, and just kind of saying, I should just go back and do it again. And my boss was kind of walking past and went, convince me there. And she was like, I like the sound of that. What would you do again? And I was like, I got out of it. And I was like, then I got really excited about it. I was like, because I loved school. I was like, all right, okay. We'll do the junior cert. We only have like 7 weeks or something like that. So it wouldn't even be a fair, like, so it wouldn't be an accurate, like, kind of study to do it in 6 weeks. I kind of wanted to give, like, the aim was also to highlight the stress that they were under, because I think that a lot of the junior cert students at the time, Snapchat was huge and they were just so stressed out over it, and always saying like, oh, no one cares because it's only the junior cert, but I just feel really like it's stressful and they're being put under a lot of pressure. So I think it was important I said, okay, look, I have 6 weeks to go. I have a degree in English and I was pretty much fluent in Irish when I left school. That's kind of gone now. I was terrible at maths. Terrible. Like, for pass maths, would have had to get grinds for 2 years just to pass the bloody thing. So yeah, I did paper ones of the 3. Okay. And I thought, or was it whatever the creative one is, not like the studied learning, because I wouldn't have got that done. That's paper one.
Yeah, paper one, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, look, there's no way I'm going to get a full curriculum into the paper 2s or whatever, but I'll give paper 1 a go. And yeah, it was just brilliant fun. Like, I was really stressed a lot, you know, like I was freaking out. I had to go back to school and re-immerse myself, like, among, say, my great couple of my Irish teachers that would have had me through like junior cycle and senior cycle were amazing. They were like, just come sit in the classroom all day, doesn't matter what class is in, just get the language back into your head, you know. So I was sitting in Irish for a few days, sitting in maths, hadn't a clue what was going on still. Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it though. Yeah.
Did you ever get asked a question and like got it wrong in maths? Like any embarrassing moments like that?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. It happened today on the radio, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was with Sean Manzanje. We were trying to figure out like how much percentage of the year has passed, and I was like 14. He was like, no, I'm like 8. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know.
And then you went and celebrated in waves.
I went and celebrated in waves. Would you have been listening then? Like,
what?
Or would you?
Yeah, well, I like.
You weren't doing your junior cert then.
No, God, no. I mean, you're what? You would have been.
What age are you now?
I'm 20 now.
So I'm 6.5 years older than you. So you would have been younger than your junior cert. Are you crazy?
Yeah. I definitely remember it anyways.
Yeah, and you know what? It was one of those things. I think sometimes in radio, it's something that I learned and I'll definitely take with me. Not to be like, Messiah. But genuinely, I do think that sometimes we can put so much work and like trying to find sponsors and trying to, you know, make this big campaign about something, and like they are so effective and they're so brilliant. But this was something that like I was known as the girl who did her junior cert again for like 2 years, like at the radio awards, and it wasn't. That was never the goal, but it became such a talking point, and it was just kind of organically happened that it was really effective.
So when are you going to go back and do the leave again?
No, I think I'm pretty much done now. I think if I ever go back to do anything, I need to educate myself.
It would be a good documentary series, you know? You're watching Get Stressed.
Sure. Well, Stephen Byrne did his leaving cert again then with RTE. Do you remember that? He went back to school for the year a couple of years later. So I think that box has been ticked. But yeah, certainly it was a very interesting experience, and the listeners were so behind me, like correcting my homework and writing me notes at the end of my exam papers with some feedback and stuff. So,
did you do the exam with other students, or did you have your own?
No, we couldn't, just based on the distraction. Like obviously they didn't allow that. We had to kind of hustle that one a little bit, all right, just to figure it out. But I was properly supervised, and that's all filmed somewhere.
Very good.
And it was great. And then the worst part was I knew that like there was teachers organised to correct them for me. But they decided on the day, nah, you can wait till September like the rest of them. Oh. So I said, like everyone else, I had to go about my summer and be like, but someone just tell me how I get on. Like, no, you're not getting them till the 10th of September. But which was good, because I also realised after that, imagine how unfair it would be if, for example, on the day or within a week, I could kind of deliver my results, and someone who's a bit worried about how they got on, thinking, oh, well, if she did badly and she's 20, whatever. You know, like just wait.
Or if she did well and she was only doing it for 6 or 7 weeks, like how am I going to get on? I was doing it for 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, the best decision ever was just to kind of park it. And
good on the Department of Education.
No, that was Beat.
That was Beat. Okay, sorry.
A Department of Different Education.
Yeah, exactly.
So Emma, since we last met at the Hybrids, you're still working for Beat, but since then you've moved to FM104.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How are you finding it?
Love it. I absolutely love it. I was shitting myself.
Fair enough.
I won't lie, I was absolutely shitting myself. My predecessor Andy is an absolute hero and has been the soundtrack to morning and afternoons in Dublin for a very long time. I'm never 100% sure, and I need to just remember it, but 17, 18 or 19 years Andy was in that slot. I was nervous as hell, and I'd never broadcast in Dublin before. Obviously I covered the Southeast and Beat, and then 15 counties across the country with iRadio. But yeah, Dublin always like scared me. I don't know why, but
the big smoke.
Exactly. And I'm originally from Dublin, but it was just kind of a whole new thought process. I don't know, but I swear to God, I did my first link at 10:20 that morning, and my hand was going and I was sweating, and once that was over, it was just, this is great. I love it. And everyone kind of said that to me in the office, but I genuinely felt like that. I felt at home halfway through show one, and that doesn't happen. Like I genuinely felt so comfortable. The listeners are so much fun. Radio is loved everywhere in Ireland, but I just feel like the passion for it from listeners in Dublin is amazing. The crack that they have, and they're incredibly engaging on that show too. I feel like I'm walking into my sitting room when I go on air in there, and that's all you can really strive for, really, I think, is to feel that comfortable.
And was it difficult, not even in June, but the first time that you left Beat? Obviously you had become quite like synonymous. You were like probably part of the furniture. Was it a difficult decision both times? First when you went from Beat to iRadio, and then Beat to FM104?
100%. It broke my heart both times. I think that when you leave, Beat is like a family, and they're like my brothers and sisters and friends, and that's where I started. They're the ones who believed in me first when I was so raw, and just gave me so many chances and just saw something in me that I hadn't seen in myself, like even back to the presenting stuff. So yeah, leaving to go to iRadio was upsetting, like just personally, and I do, regardless of like career, like in all aspects of my personality, like I'm never like a flippant person who can just kind of not overthink. Like I am gonna think deep about things and just not want to, just want to make sure that I'm making the right decision and that I'm not offending like I'm a worrier, bloody worrier.
It seems though like even though you're now up in Dublin, that you still maintain strong links with all them back at home. Like I said, I think it's nearly every weekend I see you're in Jeff's with Niall and all the crew. Do
you know what though? I won't lie to you, as much as I love Waterford, I actually don't really go home as much anymore, and I think I've been kind of like when I was in iRadio as well, and you're in Athlone, and then you're trying to catch up with friends, and I was in a relationship with Waterford at the time, and just kind of all go. I've come to Dublin and I'm just making a life for myself here now, and I kind of have to say to myself, oh, it's been 3 weeks, like go home, or So, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's about time that I found that I do love it here. As you guys know, like I love getting to gigs and I love just going for a stroll around Marley Park. And so yeah, I'm probably not in Waterford as much as I have been. And right now, that's what I'm loving.
County hasn't been the same since.
I know, but yeah. Well, obviously, it's always going to be home. It's where I grew up, but I'm definitely loving life up here right now.
So yeah, obviously you're in FM104 now, and you're doing this crazy slot to me, 10 to 3, like 5 hours of broadcasting. Do you take breaks?
Marathon.
Like, do you
No.
pre-rec links?
No,
Never.
No.
That's.
I don't like pre-recking. Well, like. No, well, I'm not saying well like to doubt. I definitely don't pre-rec, but bear in mind, like I've got 5 hits in a row at the top of every hour.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I'm doing a massive talk show all day and like, do you know what I mean? Like there is gaps within where you can definitely run down and make yourself a cup of tea. I bring in my lunch. Like there's, even though I do spend like all day in the studio and I'm always planning ahead for my next link and things like that. Like there are definitely moments where you can breathe. It's not like does that make sense? Like I can go to the loo.
You're not chained to the chair,
yeah. But it's not like like Morning Ireland where you're just kind of, you'd be exhausted after that because there's just so much to take in, and you know there's this kind of high energy the whole way out. And even though there is high energy the all way out, you've got 15 to 20 minutes at the top of each hour, to kind of, you probably have if you have an idea of what you're doing and stuff like that, you can kind of be like, okay, I'm going to make a cup of tea or whatever.
I kind of got sidetracked with the 10 to 3 thing, but what I was going to say is that you're in FM104 now and a fantastic slot. Are you still looking ahead and setting goals, or are you kind of just happy at the moment?
Right now I'm just chilling. I'm not just chilling, I'm working.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm just like having a great time and like lying down. No, I feel like I've so many plans for that show, and there's so much I want to do with it and grow it, and I think it takes a while to kind of bed in as well, even though thanks so much to you guys for like even referencing that, and you know that you know the show and stuff like that, but I do think as well it takes a year really before you even progress. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like get a year under your belt and then you become synonymous with the brand, but until then you're still just a new girl to some. Does that make sense? But yeah, to answer your question in short, which I'm naturally quite bad at doing, is right now, and yeah, like FM104 is absolutely where I want to be, and that show is my new baby.
But yeah, like it's not like you're just focused on that, because you have a podcast series in the works that we briefly glided over, but do you want to talk a little bit more about it now? Yeah,
so I suppose I've made it very clear I absolutely love my show and things like that, but I suppose I also love like interviews and like hearing from other people, and I love storytelling, and I love just getting the best out of people too. And I obviously, when you have music to play, you can't always just kind of do that. So I was like, and I always was really interested in the podcasting world, and I genuinely, to be totally honest, just felt like a total imposter. I kind of felt I had no business doing that. There's people doing podcasts, and I don't know.
We're doing one.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. But you guys have a very well established podcast at this stage. I just felt like I was a bit late to the game, and sure, who would listen to that? Just this constant this thing going around my head. So it was kind of bubbling away for a few months, and it kind of kept coming back, being like, you want to do this, just do it. And I remember thinking like, but what would my angle even be? And I knew I wanted music, and I knew I wanted like conversation. And I remember like sometimes I go back to old school brainstorming, and I just take out a pen and paper and just write down like, who are you? Like, Emma, like, what do you love? And who are you? What is your personality? And you know, why do people come to you? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, well, in school, you would have been the person that people came to if they, like, had something to talk about. Or if they had a big DMC, they wanted, you know, or advice about something. Like, I always think that there's a connection with that, with presenting, by the way. As in, like, just, but yeah, the DMC was in my head. I was like, yeah, you do love a good DMC. And people seem to like having DMCs with you.
Agony aunt.
And then I was just thinking about music, and I was just looking at the 3 letters, and I was just like, there it is. Okay, it's DMCs, but it's deep music chats, and
the stars aligned.
Boom.
Epiphany.
Yeah, I was just like, that's it. That's the 2 of my favorite things. And I was like, how do I? Because I think, as you guys know, like in a podcasting world, you kind of have to have. It has to be quite clear what you're doing with that podcast. You know, it's not just like Emma's podcast. You know, it's like, what am I getting from this kind of a thing? So yeah, then it was just a case of trying to find the right questions, because as I mentioned earlier, the idea of it is that you're trying to isolate the particular moments that might have been some of the most significant, the highs and lows of the guest's life, but you're trying to find the question that works with that, but also be able to tie in a a song around that. So like, is there music of a time in your childhood when X, boom? Is there, what's one of my other questions? Like, is there a time that your heart was broken, and what song will always bring you back there when you hear it, when you don't even expect to hear it? So it's not necessarily like the guest coming on and sharing their favorite songs. It's stuff that you obviously can't ignore, and it's always going to be synonymous with that time. So it can be quite random, and it can bring some gems back to life that you may have forgotten about. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I only have 2 episodes done, so I'll record a few more and then find the balls to release it. Yeah, but right now
Anchor, if you're looking for a podcasting platform just to release everything, it's called Anchor. Yeah, it's basically what we use to have everything on Google, on Apple, on Spotify.
It's like £12 a month or something like this.
No, it's free. No,
it's free.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Don't know how.
Nice one.
Industry tips.
I don't know how sustainable that'll be in the long run, but it's served us well so far.
Done, yeah.
So yeah. This is a little bit out of left field, but I'm glad to have the real Emma Nolan with us today, and not the imposter that took your photos and used them on Tinder.
Oh my god. When
Do you remember that?
Years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
So embarrassing. I've never been more embarrassed in my entire life.
Like, what do you even think of
Let
when
me
you
tell
find out? Like,
no, it wasn't even a big deal. I was like 20 as well. I'm cringing because I know exactly. You just Google my name and that came up, didn't it? Oh god. I don't want this to be like brought back to the surface. I'm so glad now that like when you Google search, like it was like gone from the first page. But for years I was like, this is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. So yeah, basically a friend of mine I'd met abroad was like, you're like, I lived in Waterford and he was in Dublin, and was like, this isn't you, this girl Amy. And I was like, friend was like, like tweeted about it like an idiot. And then like someone from the Indo was on to me, and I was like new to kind of the media world, being like, oh sure, look, why not? Like thinking it might be like, you know, a little 20 words in the corner being like, you know, watch your photo, like almost just almost like reminding us that once you put a photo online, it's anyone's. Like I didn't, but so when I got the phone call, like typical me, really naive, got like buddies with this journal or whatever, being like, oh hey girl, I know, right? I know, crazy. Anyway, like I'm Carrie Bradshaw and this is my, you know. And then when I saw that article, oh my god, I remember I was with my friend, Irish journalist, horrified after being, I was like, I don't even remember saying that. Like it just made it seem like I was so upset, and I really wasn't. So yeah, no, I'm scared that you brought that up, to be honest. That has never been brought up since.
I thought it would be a little bit
also
of fun to
my makeup in those photos. Like I was always like, I to this day my makeup's a little bit too dark. That's just me though. But Christ almighty, the amount of makeup I used to wear. So bad. So embarrassing, those photos, man.
And then one other odd thing that came up in a Google search was there's this website, and they track like the relationship statuses of celebrities or well-known people, and you came up.
No way.
Yeah, if you want to have a little bit of fun, go check this, because they have like so much like information. I don't know where they estimate your net worth in it.
What?
Yeah.
Go on. What did they say?
They said
tenner.
It was in dollars. 100 grand to $1 million.
Oh my god, as if that was true, I tell you.
But like I've seen this before, because if you know the two Johnnies.
Yes.
If you Google either one of the two of them and net worth, it comes up that like Johnny Smacks' like net worth is like 500 grand or something like that. Yeah. I don't know where they get these figures from, but if you're looking for a little bit of a laugh later on, just Google
That's
that.
Hilarious. What do they know about my relationships?
It just said that you were single.
Oh my god. Is that obvious?
But yeah, and it's like, and then what I thought was like, I don't know who has the time of day to actually like update these pages. But it's just like if there's any developments, we'll post them here.
That is hilarious.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I'd love to know who's behind that. I didn't even know that existed. That's hilarious.
When we are on that website, Colin, we made it.
What?
When we're on that website.
Yeah, we will know we've made it when people are asking about our relationship statuses.
Yeah. Oh, they must have just went to Facebook like, it doesn't display. That must be it. She must be single.
Yeah.
No, I've been single for most of my 20s now. Are you guys single? In relationships?
I am, yeah.
I am not.
You are single?
I am. He's not.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, no, I was actually in a relationship through college as well. For like most of that college time. I met this. Actually, when did I meet you? Anyway, the 4 years of college, I was in a relationship, and then was single for like 2 or 3 years. I was just like work. And then, was in another relationship for like a bit of last year. And now, moved to Dublin and single again. But yeah, it's fine. It's grand.
I was in a relationship for the first year of college, alright. And it lasted pretty much the entire semester of college, and then coming close to summer, it ended for the best. But yeah, it's just not something that I'm kind of looking towards right now.
I've been in a relationship for a year and 2 months now.
Ah,
I was like,
nice.
It's grand, it's fine, you know.
Cool.
Like it's thing of you're kind of in it and it just goes by so fast. Like
because you're having so much fun.
Yeah,
Time's just flying.
It's a good sign, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. God, relationships are great when you find the right person. It's just sometimes like, and the dating scene's a bit weird as well. Like the Tinder and Bumble aspect can be like tough.
One of our mates was on Tinder there, doing like taking the phone and
swiping through for them. Yeah.
And I was like, they have verified on Tinder now.
Well, what that doesn't actually mean, like, it doesn't have to say the caliber that it might bring, but like a Twitter, or it basically just means that you've given a backup email so that so people don't get catfished like I was, like horrific. They've updated their privacy policy based on that article. God, no, cringe. What am I saying? No, that's just basically to say that your account is like real and validated, and that like the same username that you've put in like is, say if I'm Emma Nolan, that like if you tie in your Instagram with that, which might not even appear, it's like, okay, cool, that's actually who she's saying she is, rather than using my pictures and calling themselves Amy. She wouldn't have got that verified notification, I tell you.
Emma, just some quick fire questions actually. Favourite song?
Oh my god, impossible.
Right
now. Favourite song right now, I'm actually kind of The Box.
Yeah.
Roddy Rich, like over and over again.
Just got announced for Longitude. Roddy Rich.
Yes.
Saw that there today.
11 of them today.
Yeah.
And Kendrick's on the Friday night, which is exciting.
And Rex Orange County got announced as well. Fantastic.
Are you guys going?
I don't have a ticket yet, but I might have my arm twisted. Well, so you can get in with your...
Not necessarily.
No, do you think media pass?
Well, we'll see closer to the time. Yeah. But if there are tickets on Friday, so I'm thinking of just getting a Friday pass. Where I live now is so close to Marley Park.
Course,
it was like such a different. I'm out that way, so it was a whole different experience. Like in previous years, going to Longitude, you know, that centre across the road, and it's just like packed with people, and it's just always such a crazy spot. Like that's my local centre now. It's just really weird, like that. I remember the first time I went in to like get my Leap card, you know, big city living, and I was like, yeah, the centre is my local centre. This is funny because I've just spent so much time like waiting for a taxi.
As opposed to Kilmeaden Centre.
Well, Kilmeaden Centre is a great centre.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very low roof. Bit claustrophobic if you're in there for a long time.
Yeah.
But very well stocked and always has fresh apple tarts and great cooked chickens.
There you go.
And
that centre does not sponsor this podcast, but if it wants
the
to,
Waterford
please get in
Shop
touch.
Review podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'd love that.
That's a new podcast that me and Emma are going to start after this one. Yeah.
I'll be the producer.
What's the shop there with the great sweets on? Oh my God. You're driving into town, McDonald's is on your right, keep going, you're going towards town, and then you've got like the centre here on the left, all the centres today, and across the road,
Dunphy's.
Best jellies.
Really? I've probably passed by that shop tens of thousands of times on the way in.
I would highly recommend you go in and get one of those bags and just fill her up, baby.
Emma Nolan approved.
Favourite place to eat in Dublin?
Oh, favourite place to eat in Dublin? Good shout. I don't even know yet.
What if I never thought of that question?
What's so far?
Where have I eaten in Dublin? Where have I eaten in Dublin?
Captain America's, Pigeon.
Oh my god, I don't even know if I can answer this question because you don't go so many people. I can't even
think. Yeah.
I can't even think.
Do you have preferred Dublin takeaway at all?
Yeah. I actually can't remember the name of it now because it's like on my Just Eat app and I can see it by its logo. But it's around the corner and it's got I'm a very plain eater mostly, so like I'm a chicken fried rice and margarita kind of girl. Are you? Yeah.
Give me a form one, it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, good shout. Yeah. I go for chicken. Get that gravy off, like tone or curry off, even tone it down even further. A good dry chicken fried rice, you can't go wrong.
Dry?
Oh, like dry as a
gold. I have to call the interview there.
See you, Emma.
That sounds like a crime.
No, amazing. No veg, no sauce. Like put that in your notes and try it for me. And a can of Coke.
I feel like you'll be like, I'm eating dry.
We're getting homework for this podcast.
Okay, one last thing. Favourite part about Dublin? And least favourite?
Okay. Very hard to narrow down. Gigs, 100% being so close to them now and not having to like
absolutely.
take a
Plan
day
so
off work.
far ahead,
Exactly. Just being able to hop on the bus and hop home rather than watching telly for the night. My friends are laughing at me in Waterford when I went home for Christmas saying, is there any gigs you're not going to? And I'm like, well, I can sit at home and watch telly, or I can hop on the bus and go into a gig and come home and go to bed at 11 o'clock. Like, it's up to me, you know? So having that accessibility for me as someone who loves it is amazing. And I feel, some people say cities are lonely. I feel the opposite with Dublin. I feel like Dublin has so much heart. I love getting the bus to Connolly in the morning and walking up to Keys to go to work, and I love being in rush hour walking traffic. I love that feeling of just we're all kind of in it together.
Everyone's kind of.
I love the characters, the people, the accents.
There's no how do though.
Yeah, you're very good with the Waterford
I'm
stuff.
Because I did look up a Waterford quiz just in case. And the one I found was just insanely easy.
Really?
So I just didn't even bother again.
Go on, give me a pop.
I'll just have to. Okay, call.
No, but I suppose least favourite is also quite difficult because not to be all like positive Polly, but like at the moment it's all quite positive. Obviously the renting situation's a joke. There's no denying that. The cranes are annoying me.
The cranes, yeah.
Yeah.
They get worse.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I was thinking this morning because whenever I see all the cranes, I can count like 11 in one view. I was just thinking like, you know, like that Rack City song. It was like, Crane City, bitch. Crane City, bitch. And it just annoyed me. I think they made an effort with them over Christmas with their fancy lights and all, but now they just look grim again. But yeah, that's probably the only thing. All quite positive. Yeah.
Well, you haven't lived in Dublin long enough then.
Yeah, it's still like
3 years, it's like, oh, I hate Dublin bus. I just hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than any public transport outside of Dublin though.
That's true, of course, but sometimes it's just very grim. And like, especially, see, I used to live down in the Liberties and go to DCU. I have to get a 13 that'd be an hour long. So I'd be going through town, Drumcondra, all the way to Ballymun Road.
Okay, yeah, you got a shit experience.
Yeah, that would be
basically.
And
I love the 14. So good.
14 was my shit back in, I was in Diggs for the first 2 years of college in Donnycarney, and that 14 would drop me right to my door. A godsend of a bus if there ever was one.
Honestly,
Yeah.
When I first moved up here and I was in July and it was really hot and sunny and I was just so happy all the time. Whoop, whoop, I love it here. And I remember like I would smile when I saw the 14 coming up. I was like, look at them, they're so cute. Like, always on time, perfect little spin into town, not off the beaten track at all, pretty much a direct spin.
Yeah.
Love the 14.
Love the 14. Shout out to 14.
Happy for you.
Anyways, Emma, we'll end the interview with the aforementioned How Waterford Are You quiz. Okay. So, how do you react if you hear someone say the words how do? A, you reply how do and you chuckle to yourself, or B, you stare blankly and wonder if they meant how do you do?
A,
of course. Where is the real
how do?
Where is the real red square? Before I give you the options, you know.
The real Red Square?
Moscow or the city centre?
Oh, the city centre, John Roberts Square. Red Square by?
My beloved book centre.
The most beautiful book centre, I think, in the country.
Oh, absolutely. That's 2 episodes in a row now that it's gotten a plug. But anyways, if someone is blocking the way of the television, what are you most likely to say? Move, you're blocking the TV. Were you made in the glass factory, or out of the way by?
Oh, that's a tough one between B and C.
Yeah.
I'd say made in the glass factory, like the good one, but I'd be like, out of the way by.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with C.
Yeah, dead right.
I think it's like too cliche to bring in the glass factory here. It's for like wannabes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, this question is a little bit dated, but if you have a problem, who's the first person you're going to call? Joe Duffy, yeah, didn't even have to finish. It is. You see someone on the street, you know, how do you greet them? Hi, hey ya, or well boy / girl.
Well boy, well girl.
Colin, you've never like said any of these phrases. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I've been living in Dublin.
You never said
when I go back to Waterford,
it all comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like that too. I'm accused always of having no accent. I'm like, see me and Jeff's now after.
Yeah,
after surrounded by Waterford.
A few points of Metal Man. I love all the Waterfordisms that we're dropping in. That like a lot of our listeners, I'm just not gonna get.
I'm just from Calvin, like I'm
yeah,
just fucking Gavin.
Metal Man is a locally brewed. Isn't it an ale?
I'll make it as an ale.
I think it is an ale. You'd probably like it.
I love their branding actually. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Looks well on a draft thing.
Right. What does the word shellachy-bookie mean to you?
Oh.
What? Is it a shell pasta, a type of seashell you pick up on Tramore Beach, a snail, or a pet name for people named Michelle? The snail?
Snail.
Yeah. Red lead is?
Meat.
A perfect sandwich.
Jesus, food.
Yeah.
Never had a red lead blah.
No.
Is he, are you helping him at all?
No, he's only been down to Waterford once, so.
Colin sports the Dubs.
Let's not get into that.
Okay.
I support Dublin football. We've talked about that extensively on the podcast, so I'm not going to bring it up now.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Someone questions Waterford city status. Do you A, agree that it isn't a city, B, inform them that it is actually the oldest city in Ireland, so dare, or C, accuse them from being from Kilkenny?
B.
Yeah, absolutely, it is the oldest city in Ireland. Now it just says pick a sports personality. Rory McIlroy, Brian O'Driscoll, Paul O'Connell, or John Milan.
John Milan?
Yeah, of course. Chips Cans, John Milan. And
I remember seeing John Milan on Tramore Beach a couple of years ago. Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second? It was during like prime heat wave, like crazy heat wave. Actually, this was a long time ago. This was a long time ago because I worked in the newsroom, and Niall Power from Beat Breakfast in a management position there. And I can't remember, I remember being approved to go to Tramore Beach and do a package for the news on how bloody hot it was. It was it was a newsworthy story. Yeah. So I was like, this is great. I'd go to the beach for work and just wander around. So it was great fun. And I was like, I'll come with you for the stroll. And working with the 99, walking down the beach, being like, hi, do you want to talk to me about how much of a good time you're having? They're like, yeah, okay. And I remember seeing John Milan being like, will I? Oh, I don't know. I'm scared. So I went over and I was like, howdy, John, Emma here from Beach. He was like, no bother, girl, no bother. He was great. But, he was the very start of that package, and his Waterfordisms are just fantastic.
Did you ever see the WhatsApp voice note that was doing the rounds on Twitter?
My favourite thing that probably happened in 2019 was that voice note.
So, no, it wasn't that. It was
the best thing ever. I think this particular Waterford family love John Milan so much that they have a WhatsApp group called John Milan where they just share stuff. But this most amazing thing happened. You have to explain this. It's unconfirmed, definitely unconfirmed. But so apparently, one of John Milan's mates was going away to Australia, and he was having a going away party, and John Milan bought him a going away card, and he gave him 30 quid to put in it. But at the same time, he also had to buy a mass card for a funeral.
And the story goes that he mixed up the two, sent the mass card to his mate, sent €30 in a card saying "Bon Voyage."
Oh no! I have an unconfirmed story as well, right?
Amazing! It's amazing. And my favourite part of that voice note that went around was that the guy saying it is so Waterford.
Oh, he's typical, yes, proper.
Bon voyage!
Bon voyage!
I think my brother told me this story. I'm not sure if it's true. So basically, it was after a Munster hurling final. I'm not sure what year. Cork, Waterford win. Probably told you the story.
Was it the Tony Brown goal year? I'd say that was 2010, I think.
Yeah, and basically Marty Morrissey asked John Milan after the game, how do you feel, John? 2 words, Marty, unreal.
Fantastic. He's such a treasure, and he's just such a nice guy too.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He'll stop and chat with anybody. He's just a hero in the town, but he has time for literally everybody.
He's great in broadcast too. Whenever he features in sport, he's great.
Him on co-commentary on RT Radio 1 on Sunday Sport is just
brilliant.
One of the best things ever. Yeah. He's just so passionate about everything, not just Waterford, just about the game of hurling. And finally, going back to our Waterford quiz, another easy one to end. Finally, is a blad just a flowery bap? A, yes. B, no, it's totally its own thing, and you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
B.
Yeah, of course.
Speaking of which, I know that that sounds like a Daily Edge quiz. I miss Daily Edge so much.
Yeah.
Daily Edge was fantastic.
Brilliant.
We used to get so many laughs, and the journalism was so good on Daily Edge. You know that?
Who knows? Maybe in a few years' time.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Because there's nothing really like the Daily Edge now.
No,
not
really.
Not an Irish source. You have your showbiz pages, but they were kind of opinion pieces. They had everything.
They could really relate to the reader.
They could
in a great way.
Yes.
I think we've come to
wrap it up
the end of
John
our
Milan
conversation. Chips Cans, John Milan. Emma Nolan.
Am I allowed to ask you a quick question?
Yeah, work away.
How are you finding coming to the end of your college experience?
fucking frightening.
It's frightening. It was more frightening, I think, at the start of September. There's this weird period where we're all kind of off kilter and we're like,
yeah.
shit.
I don't think it hit me until the first lecture last week, or like our last first lecture, and I was sitting there thinking, less than 12 weeks to go. And then like I think I have 2 exams in May, and then once they're finished.
I actually think it hit most after the 24-hour broadcast when we reached our goal, and me and Colin got a bit teary-eyed because it was last
I got
time.
very emotional.
And
You've really seemed to be like 2 guys who've made the most of the college experience.
I like to think so,
Yeah, 100%. And like I love that you got so invested in like TCU FM as well, and like what a great station. From being involved in a small way with the hybrids last year, I was like, okay, the future if this is what's coming out of colleges, the future of radio, the passion is definitely among younger people still too.
Oh sure,
and,
like a girl that was in our course last year, Leanne Hannafin.
Oh, I know Leanne.
Do you know Leanne?
She's dope,
Leanne. And like she was doing Freak for all of a month before she was given a Sunday morning slot.
On Spin, is
on
that
Spin,
right? Yeah.
And
good
she's
for her.
killing. Like it just goes to show the kind of level of talent that is coming out of this place. Obviously, we've had Sean Defoe, Owen Sheehan, so many people have come through DCU and gone on and been.
And
great.
Sean Defoe would shout so highly about DCU as well. Like when it works in with
Sing
the
it.
beat, and just that it gives you so much more than your course, like having DCU FM and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, look, good on you, and make the most of the last few weeks. Have a great one.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, see you at the hybrids.
Yes, well, we'll see. That's
if I'm not asked back,
bit,
so
bit of a teaser there, an exclusive for the podcast maybe. Emma, thanks a million for being a guest.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
This has been In Conversation with Emma Nolan. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.